everybody.
Hey, we're here for the second episode of the Drunken, a little question and answer. So feel free to ask questions and talk to Asmodeus barking in the background. He's trying to chat it up with us. We had a really long, good session yesterday that kind of jumped off. So I still want to continue to thank Magecraft Miniatures, RFI Prints, Build with Titans. A lot of those folks that have been helping us out along the ways. A bunch of 3D printing companies and a bunch of companies in Etsy. So as I kind of roll through this, we'll bring them up today. We'll just kind of maybe do a quick recap of what happened yesterday, because I'm still kind of lost as to what happened. You guys, yesterday in the Descent to Avernus campaign, you guys did an amazing job. Like Henry and Pete absolutely crushed it, coming up with some way to get Tiamat to take over the Avernus out of nowhere. Like that was pretty brilliant. And then just questioning Mahadi, the definitely not Rakshasa,
and definitely not Mordenkainen.
And Mordenkainen, yeah, I gotta tell you, the campaign it's difficult because like there's these big encounters, not encounters like combat encounters, and it'll only be like 2 paragraphs long. So you have to you travel to this place, it gives you a brief description. So it's kind of on the dungeon master to be like, well, I could really slow things down in this moment and just NPC this thing all the way, or I could just, hey, stop sign to stop sign. Like, hey, he comes out and he's like, Zariel's not here, and then you just go to the next spot or whatever. So.
Well, that's what was funny. Like, so Henry and Pete did all that awesome RP. I'm like, man, I gotta do something with Mordenkainen. Gotta do something. I don't know what, but I'll try to do something.
Yeah. So what was the last part? You guys hit the obelisk and you found out that the wizard's a monkey, and he's just like, hey, I need you to
it was, so to me it was funny. It's like, okay, we're on this wild goose chase where somebody says, okay, you got to go here, and then we go to the next place, and we go there and they say, it's not here, it's over there, and we go to that place, and that guy's like, I'm sorry, I can't help you, but you go talk to that guy over there.
The princess is in another castle.
Yeah, it's like, son of a bitch.
Rublax definitely can help. You just got to help him first.
Right.
You finally reached your red roof.
Yeah, it was just a funny ash. Hush.
He wants to talk.
You're not a part of this game. I mean, actually you are, but just in a very different way. You're talking about like the frustration of just not knowing where to go. Like, I can at least certainly with our line, that's what it feels like. It's like what? Where are we going next? Like, it's just from a character level. Obviously, from a PC standpoint, it's like, this is just where's this going? Where's this going? But I'm thinking from like the character standpoint, you're just like wandering through hell, going, what are we even doing? I'm just going to this guy. He tells me to go to this guy.
It requires a reminder every session to be like, you don't have a lot of leads, but your lead is the Bleeding Citadel. So keep trying.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah, so I was talking with one of my buddies, I think actually even like last night after the game, and I was just like, man, I feel a little lost sometimes, right? And I think, Tim, even you and I talked about it a little bit too, was like, I feel lost sometimes because I didn't do your fight up to Tiamat, right? And I haven't done Descent into Avernus before, and it's hard to not like go try to look stuff up, be like, okay, well, what did I miss up to this point? Because as far as the character goes, like, right, that'd be some super metagaming, because in character, like, I didn't meet you guys until the year after you defeated Tiamat, and I picked up there, right? And so it was like, in character I wouldn't know this, but like, even just as a person, I'm like, I don't know what the heck is going on most days. Like, who are these people?
Yeah, there's a little of like, we want to do a level 20 campaign. You know?
Yeah.
Give it a try, and then you have to homebrew this one where you guys could just like bulldoze this campaign if you wanted to, but it does provide you an opportunity to like have really awesome boss fights along the way. So it's gonna get spicy here in the next little bit. I just keep having to get to a point of control. Like these first few stop signs are like, but then eventually like it really gets juicy, and that's kind of where I'm trying to hit when like, I don't know, what was Connor saying? He's trying to come up with a way to find you guys. I love that.
Well,
Yeah,
I love that.
that was
I'm
cool.
just gonna move you guys to the other side.
Well, but so he was telling me, it's like, with Mordenkainen, ask where we are, ask where we are, and I'm sitting here going, no, our characters don't know that you're even here.
Yeah. If anybody, their party wants to find you guys.
Exactly.
They have a thing like, like, what is your purpose? Like, well, you watch your buddies get sucked into what you think is hell.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, they know we're here. As far as we know, they're still in Baldur's Gate doing Baldur's Gate things.
Wouldn't it be nice if you guys could just blink up and be like, Elturel, let's see what happens.
So yeah, he was telling me that. I'm like, that would be some major metagaming, because we don't know that you guys are here.
Yeah.
To ask that question.
I can hear him like scurrying off and coming back lightning fast.
We have little nails clicking on the floor. Right?
Ash, you're ridiculous. You are.
I had to close the doors because the dogs were commencing kangaroo fights. They're just going nuts. And I walked out there, and Kai is like 100 pounds. You know what I mean? He's massive. And then there's like Chip, and they're both like sitting at the couch, like looking at me, like with like ropes in their mouth, like.
What are you
doing? Daddy, let's play.
We're being good.
Yeah. I'll be right back. I got to do a thing. Yeah, well, I'm super excited. You guys kind of slowed down in the Wandering Emporium. You saved me a map. Like, nothing's better than being able to like leave a map out there still that you guys haven't used. So that's gonna be nice. We going this week?
I gotta admit, this is a very different approach, and I guess maybe it's more like the standard for D&D, but all of my campaigns that I have been a part of up until here, every single one of them has been a homebrew, right? Like, it's not been, hey, somebody went out and purchased, like the book, right? Like, they didn't get the Descent into Avernus book. They just like made up their own plot lines, which is interesting. But like, I've also watched, like some of my other DMs just struggle like 5 hours before game, and they're like trying to get everything all together all at once, like at the end. And I know you've talked about, you put a lot of time and conscious effort into getting things done and studying so that you know where things will go. Yep. Which, by the way, I truly appreciate the level of preparation that you put into this. But you're not like making it up as you go along. So it really connected for me yesterday when we finally got to the like, oh, do we need to help Tiamat? And like, this used to be the bad guy, and we have this like well orchestrated plot that exists. And this is something we can do. And so I think yesterday was like finally the point where I was like, oh, this is the difference between doing a pure homebrew and doing something that's like, not scripted, but like has a little more structure to it.
Yep. So it's always a sandbox, right? So it's always, you got to let you guys be able to completely derail this thing if you need to, and have to somewhere out there have a wall to kind of bump you back towards, well, you're in hell. You could stay here forever. The wall is the only way out, you know what I mean, is some sort of divine intervention or something like that. But yeah, homebrew to me is like daunting, because I look at like Matt Mercer's Exandria and stuff, and you're like, dude, I feel like he's just got libraries of a story that he's written, and he knows every shopkeep, every blah blah blah. The cool thing about a homebrew, in my opinion, is like, you can just, like, for example, for the next campaign, or to bring both these campaigns, I don't know who the BBEG is that's going to link all of this together. I'm kind of letting you guys decide. I mean, in the way you guys are doing this right now, where you keep going back towards Tiamat and stuff, like, fantastic. You know what I mean? Like, you guys are making your own story. Like, this is great. What's Tiamat going to do? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, maybe you get to use this $500 mini again. Fantastic.
Yeah. Well, so, and here's the thing. So I'd had a great idea for what I wanted to be a one shot or like a 2 or 3 3-night kind of campaign, like just something to gap, like real short between two larger campaigns, just to have like available. And so I purchased something, like downloaded from I forget where, and was like, okay, I'm gonna take, like it's got a lot of good stuff already built, and it's got character sheets and everything else. I'll reskin it for this idea that I had. Yeah. And man, I'll tell you what, like as somebody who writes professionally, this shit's hard. Mm-hmm. This shit's hard as fuck. Yeah. I think I got about halfway through writing that, and I was like, there is no way. Like, I could DM the shit out of something, but it had better be pre-done. I am not writing this shit myself.
This is how much I've got just from the end of the Tiamat thing till now. Those are all.
And those are your notes. Like, that's not even the book.
Yeah. It's just so like, Connor doesn't sleep. Soul coin. I is not a transmitter.
Like I haven't done any of that, but I've purchased some of the like the GM books of like random encounters and puzzles and NPCs and legendary dragons, all those, and all of those have one shots in them, and it looks like to write your own campaign is a very specific type of writing, in that you're writing episodes, but making it detailed enough so that you can guide the adventure, but leaving it generic enough loose enough that anything can happen.
Yeah, got to start from the back.
Right.
You have to start from the back, Darth Vader is your father. You know what I mean? And then you got to put Darth Vader in the first bar that you guys meet.
Yeah.
So that you can have a jaw-dropping moment like, oh, that's the guy. That, I'm on Critical Role Campaign 2 or whatever, and I'm just assuming
I'll be right back.
I'm assuming a lot of the people that they met in the circus, that's going to come full circle eventually. You know what I mean? I'm sure. Yeah, but I don't know. It's all just a mystery there. So he walked off. Oh, what's up?
I mean, 100%. It's a very different style of writing. I think some of the things carry over, though, right? Like, I know for me, I'll have this great idea, right? And I had this great idea for what would have been a one shot or maybe 2, 3, depending on how many hours we want to play in a day. I'm like, this is great. I think I could do this. I need, I'll just build my characters, my bad guys, set them on the quest, and just go. A couple encounters, and then there you are. And then I realized, you run into the same problems that you run into when you create plot for any other thing. And it's, if you don't know how it ends, you will never get there. You can write the beginning.
Yeah.
You're never going to get the middle if you don't know how it ends.
So I've read this probably 5 times. I'll read it all the way through, and then I'll read it again, right? And then I'll do the chapter that we're on, and then the next chapter, so that I don't step through something that's supposed to be some sort of plot hook or whatever. So I'm constantly reading this one and the next, and then this one, because you get to a point where when you're on the paths, it's only 2 paragraphs long, so I just read ahead. Because sometimes I'll sit here, I have a timeline of what you guys are supposed to do. And yesterday, I just skipped through 3 things for the guys, for the barbarians. I was like, okay, I'm starting to feel that this other party is going to get wise and come up with some hairball, screwball way of getting a hold of you guys. So I need to get them to a point real quick where they know something. So I was just like, let's get going. But
we are definitely on the, I don't know what the fuck's going on here. I got my ship.
I'll repage that one, like I said, the next time, because there were some important facts. When you saw True Sight, and you used True Sight, and you saw that the dude was actually a demon. You know what I mean? He can absolutely help you get to where you want to go. You just got to do him a favor. And I'll reiterate that. I get it. It's signpost. Be patient.
No,
you know what I mean?
That's fine. I've kind of come to grips with that as a this is frustrating. This is frustrating as characters. It adds a level of anxiety, if you will. It's we're just kind of out here going.
Well, that's what I was trying to tell Gary. I was like, if you're mad as a person, be mad as a character.
Yeah.
If you're frustrated that you don't know, take that out in roleplay. What is going on here?
Well, that was why I did my little timeout yesterday, right? I was hold on, wait. Tiamat? What? Okay. we're here because of this thing, and like just linked it back all the way to like, I guess, what was it, the Iron Sphere? And I was like,
That's why I picked
Are we
Descent to
okay
Avernus,
right
because she's
now?
down here. There's
Yeah.
mentions in Descent to Avernus, like, well, she was recently defeated. And I was like, oh, this would be a really cool, 15 to 20 campaign, because, mom's angry and you got to go talk to her. That's going to be interesting. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
she is super duper pissed at you guys. But what happens when a fiend gets pushed out of a realm? She can't necessarily go back. Well, she's a god. She can probably do whatever she wants. But
I guess here's the question: is Tiamat really angry, or is Zariel angry that we did that?
Zariel's she just doesn't like demons.
Right,
She's
but
just that.
but is Zariel
Yeah.
pissed that we thwarted her plans of getting Tiamat on Faerun?
Yeah. I think both Z's. You know what I mean? Like Tiamat and Tiamat's fan of like Archon the Cruel and Krull and all the Abishai. They're not like bros to Zariel. They're not helping her cause.
No,
So
no, obviously not that. But Zariel was trying to,
Oh yeah.
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 So I'm just sitting here thinking, obviously Tiamat wants to get into Faerun for her own things, but if
you look at it closely enough, did she just do an okey doke? Did she do this thing over here while she did that thing over here?
Yeah, exactly. Is she fine?
I was trying to it was all part of the plan, because like, what is it with devils and demons? Like they're 3 steps ahead of you. So when you sign the contract, you know what I mean? Like you're never getting out of the contract. But,
right.
So that's like the number one thing it says. Like, don't put a devil out there unless you're absolutely certain that this is going to punish them in some weird way. When you go swing the sword three episodes from now, it just turns to ash, and you're like, oh, crap.
By the way, I totally thought you were drinking pickle juice like just a second ago. You pulled up that water bottle. I'm like, my God, is that a giant thing of pickles? Like, how hungover are you, dude?
12-year-old Nalgene.
I see that thing I've seen that thing all the time, and I always think it's pickle juice.
That's what I need to start saying. Now it's like, ew, tomato juice. Celsius is quite possibly the best. Like, so like after post D&D days, like your brain just like completely smoked from like trying. And yesterday, oh my God, all the tech issues, every single poor Skylar. Like I was just ripping him to shreds prior to everybody walking in. I was like, can't get cameras working and blah blah blah. But the funny thing is like, as a DM, like you need so many different levels of patience. So I set up cameras so the 2 people could arrive here and watch, because they were coming over. And then they were like, as soon as I got it set up, I went through all the things. They're like, hey, I'm gonna play from home, and Krista, had a really long night at work, so she didn't come down. I was like, oh no, I could have used that time. Yeah. But yeah, you just smile and
Right now that I'm finished with my lunch, I'm gonna move into my living room. So you guys get like the tour of the house right now. So hi, this is my kitchen.
That's a pretty nice base house, I gotta say.
It's brand new, man. Like they just finished building it like a month before we moved in. Sorry, baby. Sorry, I think I might have just stepped on my cat. Whoops.
yeah, I was like, was that a cat?
Yeah, so I moved in 21, and it had just finished being built, so brand new. We call the old base housing like Chernobyl, because they tore it down like it's down to the studs. All right.
That's like Patrick or South Patrick Shores used to be all base housing, and they condemned the entire area about 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and razed all the houses, and they're still not even built, like, because I think the land is still contaminated from God knows what, 50 years of dumping space stuff.
Yeah, so we have like they tore everything down basically to like the foundations, and so you can run past it in the mornings or whatever, and there's like all these just like basic foundations, and I look at them and I'm like, I seem to remember that like these were almost like townhouses, like they were right next to each other, and you look at them, you're like, these are tiny. Like I don't think my living room would fit like the footprint of this thing right now. Like, God, no wonder nobody wanted to live on base. But the new ones are pretty nice. Like only a few things that I would say I don't really like, but no mold, fortunately. So there's that.
That's always good in Florida, for sure.
Yeah, no kidding.
Did we go the whole session without combat last one?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think I rolled. I don't think I rolled
really
anything except
bizarre.
like perception checks.
Yeah, it was a bizarre. I had like some Mad Max things set up, but it was just like kind of pacing. So I was like, all right, well, save those for over here.
Yep.
Yeah, no
It's
combat.
hard to run 2 combats. I think that would just be so. Like, there's a chance that may happen. Like, if they're combat and then you roll into combat, that'd be. I don't know if I have to decide like whether or not that's got a good pace, but we'll see.
Oh, if both groups end up in combat at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I think the way that we're doing it episodically,
Yeah,
it works. It can work because you're just doing a cutscene, and it's like, okay, finish this combat. Cutscene. Transition. I guess if figuring out a good transition from one scene to the next. Meanwhile,
yeah. What's the campaign 2 question you got up there? Where we're going?
Oh, no,
I keep looking at it.
Just discuss like what's in store for this year.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still torn on what campaign to run. Like, Dragonlance seems so juicy. But I kind of still want to do the Phandalin thing, and I think because of the way that Tiamat ended, and we kind of do this in the same timeline, the fact that the Giants weren't really involved, I think that's a really good time to like have something really juicy going on north of the spine of the world. I think that's kind of fun. The only bad thing about that, Skylar, is I have 0 icy terrain. So I'm on Etsy like, oh God. Do I just take a light white coating and just spray over the dwarven hordes that I have right now? And
like a little bit of blue, and then just hit it with a white highlight.
Yeah. Just put a blue filter on it.
If you ever look up Organized DM, she makes some amazing stuff out of foam for like really, like it's inexpensive, and like I have been able to be like, instead of buying like tons and tons of Dwarven forge, just like go in and she just sends a box of like cave and just like ta-da, done. I think it's that, and there's another one like chunky terrain. I gotta look them up on Etsy. Dungeon Chunks. That's another brilliant one. It takes a little time because he paints them, or they paint them, and then yeah. But yeah, I have to start. I need to start reading ahead, because I think if we finish in March, we're gonna jump right into a Phandalin thing. Did we decide? Are we doing dragons of ice, dragons of whatever isles, or are we doing the Phandalin one? Is it Icewind Dale?
Dragons of. Hold on a second. I've got D&D Beyond.
Dragons of something peak. I've got that one.
Dragon of Icespire Peak.
Is that
that's
the Phandalin one as well?
That's the Phandalin one.
Those are the
that's
D&D
a starter set
cartoon. Yeah, but it's like the D&D the cartoon. Those are the minis I heard. I haven't even opened this yet. This is the one we want to run to start.
I don't know. You've mentioned Icewind Dale, running that, but Dragon of Icespire Peak is
I think it starts in the same place.
Yeah, it actually starts in Phandalin. So if we want to start in Phandalin, do that. And honestly, we could always end up like just kind of like we've done with this, Phandalin into Horde of the Dragon Queen into God knows whatever, and end up with this. We could always
I would run Horde of the Dragon Queen again in a heartbeat. I am in love with that campaign. Horde to Tyranny of Dragons is probably, I don't know, that one's a blast. Like, it's very, very Dungeons and Dragons. I think Chalt would be fun, Tomb of Annihilation. But what I was thinking is, how we do 2 campaigns? Like, we do Boop Boop Boop, Storm King's Thunder, and then we finish going after a Siserac or something like that. Like, I don't know how I would be able to trickle that in, but that would be a cool juxtaposition or whatever, a transition. Excuse me, I'm just throwing out words that aren't even like relatable to what I'm saying. But go from like cold and freezing to hot and sweaty would be kind of cool.
Well, and how do you go from Faerun?
Juxtaposition was the right word.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah, I was afraid.
Juxtaposition was the right word.
Yeah.
But the question is, how do you go from Faerun to Dragon? Two different worlds.
I think that's easy. That's a
well,
right.
Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, I mean, it's sure there's Scooby-Doo, but there's like, how do you how do you work that in? Is that like throw a spell jam?
That was the other option, right? Like Takesis being Tiamat's back. Yeah. I am obsessed with Lord Soth, so you don't have to convince me.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Yeah. Lord Soth and Morduk were like, when I was a little kid, I loved great helms and red eyes, you know what I mean? So I was into that stuff. That's Modis.
I feel like Skylar's about to get eaten by his own dog.
He's
going wild.
He just came from outside and he's like, what is going on here?
Is he just spinning wildly?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll just go mute for a second.
Okay, so Tim, here's my question for you: is that if we do like whatever next campaign is, are we doing it same characters and then like I said, like Scooby-Doo and we go over it, or?
So for me personally, as a PC, I always have I'm always Sir Timothy. So this would be Sir Timothy's son or whatever. So yeah, whatever you want to do. So the bottom line is, it's that the next party will start in Fanlin while the main party starts fighting in Tiamat. So the bar stories would be like, yeah, it's empty, it's tumbleweeds. And that's why the denizens are kind of showing up in the world again, because all the armies, all the heroes, everybody is in the Well of Dragons, and you guys are gonna be like level ones, like, oh, okay. You're like,
what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, there'll be like red brands and whatever bandits that kind of roll into town, and you can blast them and then kind of go off on your own, and then El Terrell disappears, and you're like, okay, something's going on there, but you guys are off in your own thing. So what it provides me is some layers to conversations in the world, right? Like, and if you played this whole campaign, you can walk in the footprints of your past character. So if you go to like, what is it, Parthas Lodge or something like that up in the Great Peak Mountains, you guys would be like, oh crap, I put that hole in that
heard that.
Yeah, like, oh, and they could be like, oh, the legends of the hero of the Duchy of Skyreach used to be here, or something like that. And it just makes it a little bit more like lore rich.
It's good. Okay. So, I mean, like, I think we talked about characters the other day. I'm still in the middle of writing that characters post for the blog, and I think I've got maybe 500 words left. I was hoping to finish it this weekend. Womp womp. But, like, I love creating characters and that deep, rich backstory. Obviously, you've seen the level of backstory I put just to this character, and like I don't think more than 5% of it's come out even. Certainly not in a deep RP where I would actually pull on any of it. But I've got a couple of other characters.
Like, I just want to do another elf. He or she's from wherever, you know what I mean, blah blah blah. And I'd be like, yeah, that's awesome. That village was just burnt.
Yeah.
Or it was relatively, obscure. Like you're not tracking.
Yeah, but I mean, I've got other characters too that I have, like, I just sort of like I develop them and I keep them sort of in the background. There may or may not be a character sheet associated, but like there's backstory there because it means that I can go, oh hey, I can do like a one shot or a 2 or 3 shot and just pull this one up out of the ether and just go with it. And I've got another one that would be a little more fun and probably a little closer to what works for me, because right now I feel like my struggle is that I, as a person, don't know the D&D mechanics as well as I know other games. And so, like, a lot of times I'm like, I am not somebody that needs to be casting spells, because that's like a shit ton of knowledge.
It's not really. You have the book.
I do.
You just open the book and read the spell.
Yeah,
I know, and I've got it, but like
read the spell.
Yeah, that's the best way. That's the best way to learn spellcasting. To be honest, you just read the section of your class's spellcasting things, like, oh, this is how my class does spell casting. I don't know all my spells.
Someday, because that is definitely DC 8+3, blah 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 blah. Like I'm just that sort of stuff is kind of. You know what I'm going to do next one? Components. There is a dump truck outside that has just been backing up for like the past like 15 minutes. Like I think they're doing like the Austin Powers backup thing. Can you hear it?
Mm-hmm. So
I can hear something.
I have like kids doing speed racing outside. Dads are like pushing the little go-kart, right? And then across the line, see how far they go. They look like they're having quite the day. I'm a little envious.
Yeah, my garage. I don't want to call this a studio. You know what I mean? But it's a garage. Like it's A
studio is what you make it, right? Like I'm sitting in my living room.
Tablecloth for Halloween, like right here that I turned into like a back. Yeah.
I mean, dude, I like literally just sit in my living room. I have thought about. I have like a kind of a screen thing, like covering literally the cat's shitter box that I've thought about. Like, oh well, what if I move that over here? Like that'd be a more benign kind of background. I'm like, you know what, people can love Strangelove, right? They can love a combat helmet.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Oh shit! Sorry, I just watched a dude push his kid, and like kid straight up endo chin first. Oh, there's hugs going on. Oh my god! Sorry. I shouldn't laugh with tears
a strange way of showing empathy.
Listen, we've done that before. We've all been there.
Every parent's done that, right?
Yeah.
Every kid's done that.
We've got the conventions.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna actually have a table at Wyoming.
Yes.
Which I thought I was drivable. I got Idaho and Wyoming a little bit confused. I was like, oh, yeah, that's not that far away. And I was like, oh, that's 16 hours away.
Idaho.
What? Yeah.
Idaho. Yeah.
So here's my thing. Dudes, I have like 27 days of user lose leave. Like I have got to take some stinking leave this year. So if I can scrape together the cash, I'll be there because I don't know what the hell else to do with all this leave.
Yeah, I think it's a cool way
don't want to lose it.
Get our toes into convention stuff as a group. That's kind of a blast. And the good thing is you get a bunch of cards in your pockets with QR codes and you start networking with people. And the cool thing is when you actually run into somebody that you know, because like the more I deal with Etsy, the more I'm on Instagram and stuff like that and running these folks, like it would be really cool to be like, oh man, like we're just two obscure streamers, and you know what I mean? Like, hey.
Yeah.
And the cool thing with the Wyoming PopCon is they reached out to us.
Yeah.
The president of Carla Sims, if you're watching, if you end up watching this, thank you. Look out for our payment. So we have a table. Just to let you know, we have a 10x10 table that has power. So if you want to bring some minis that require power, we can do all that stuff.
Yeah, no, Gary Kahn didn't write back.
Boo.
Cool there. There's like 2 tables left, and it's like X amount of money to pay for it, but I think they're just like, well, if no one else shows up, we'll let this Stronghold come.
Stronghold. I love it.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Because the cool thing is, I just found out Luke Gygax, which is Gary Gygax's son, he was in the army. Like, dude, I think he just retired. I was like, oh, what? That's so cool that there are other veteran types that are into tabletop RPG, because it's like not exactly like the coolest thing to do in a culture of dip spit and Velcro and baseball hats and Glocks, so it's like it's kind of stepping out of that kind of world. So when you see like another nerd, it's just like, oh sweet, I'm not alone.
I'm learning. Well, there's the whole EDub thing in the Air Force. Like, well, if you like these types of things, you're an EDub. But I think there's a a fair amount of people in the military who enjoy this type of stuff, but I don't want to say it's frowned upon, but it's
taboo. It's still taboo.
It's
whether
bred.
You like it or not,
I'll say it's bred out of you in a way, but you still enjoy it secretly. Like, I mean, like you said, you have all these guys who are like, "Wait, what are you doing? Oh, this is awesome. This is cool."
That's the thing is, like, a lot of folks that are like kind of against it, once they start playing, they're like, "Oh, this is," and then
this is actually fun.
Here comes like all sorts of backstory for a character. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I love bringing people into the game because I love watching. Cause I've been living vicariously through someone else. I would love to play in my campaign. I was telling Skylar, like, I just want to play in this campaign so much. Because when we play Witcher, like, man, I'm just going hard in the paint with plate mail and just I love it so much. Poor Aaron, but
it's
going
funny.
to keep. I have a suggestion for Aaron and I. I was watching the stream last night, and I think, it's not to be a diva or anything like that, but I think having us in our own box above the map on Twitch might be valuable, and I'm going to give him this camera. So when he's up moving around, you can see more of his facial expressions and whatnot, because the way we have it set up for Witcher is like, baby's in the corner. You know what I mean? And like,
yeah,
it just kind of helps, like, I don't know, having the DM, because I end up talking 99% of the stream. You know what I mean? Like, so we'll have to figure that out. I think we have some more dynamic stuff to work on.
Yeah, that part.
Can you pull out of that box without it being weird?
I can. That's
OBS is foreign to me.
Well, that's what I need to figure out with. Like for the next campaign, like how many people are we going to have? Are we going to have a?
That's going to be tough.
Well, it's like, A, how many people are we going to have? 2, are we going to limit the number of people that are going to be able to participate in each session?
8. Yeah, I think the way we've been doing it, and we've been really blessed, is it's always been 10 to make 6 in D&D. Usually you just we'll have 10, but the problem is when all 10 arrive. So what is I think the answer, we just have to come up with something to balance it out. Just be like, hey, the first 8 or the first people to click the checkbox and scheduling and stuff, you're in. You know what I mean? But then you just don't want to isolate that person because people are friggin' busy.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, there are some times I really want to play, but I'm saving that energy for Thursday when I'm like, I'm in. Oh crap, everybody already showed up. Then I quit. You just don't want to do that. So when you have the discussion of like how many people are going to play,
well,
like,
and it's
man, that's so tough.
So it leads into the.
I don't want to be the bad guy being like, man, we're already full. You know
like
what I mean?
like creating graphics for the next campaign. Like, yeah. I don't. Like, I want to get away from.
I get you tokens and graphics and being able to have like a box that says like Valanthe of Thar, fighter elf, and a token next to her. Man, if I was watching a stream, that's what's awesome.
Yep.
The flip side to that is I like the fact that it's comfortable, that people can come in and out, and here's the box of Zoom of just the people that are playing, and here's whatever. People can get over that aesthetic and understand that we're just like, hey, sometimes we have 6 people, sometimes we have 9. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. And I think people have too much of a day job, and I want people to have a day job.
Yep.
So we have to work with that balance. I think we try our best to be like, hey, here's the 6 main characters that we know have been showing up forever and ever. The bottom box are the other 3 of you guys. Are you okay with that? You know what I mean? And I think that some people that are just like, okay, so you could do that as well. You could be like the DM, you, Valanthe, Henry, you know what I mean? Connor, the folks that are the staple of the audience that have been there for the 3 years or whatever. Like, here you guys go. Here's your box. Because if you watch other streams, and I've noticed it, and I'll give you a shout out, Judgy DM and Dungeon Mechanics and Swole Initiative and stuff like that. If those people aren't on, they just leave it blank. They leave that box like blank, and it's just like, gone for the day or whatever, but you can kind of see their character still in that box. So you could build all 8. And you know what I mean? Like over here, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, on that keypad. And if they're not in, they're not in. So you just leave it blank for the day, like camera off. Try that. That's Modius's bag. But yeah,
Like-
there's tons of different ways. So Wyoming, PopCon, yeah, we can do that. There's no questions out in the Twitch universe, but
No, it's just
it is what it is. Content's content. I woke up this morning and I was gonna try to post a reel, and I was like, nah, I'll just post a picture. I feel like I'm exhausting social media right now, so I'm just going to post a pic.
That's a hard thing too, right? Balancing just enough content with too much, right? Like, how often do I market the book? How often do I put a post out to the, to the book club email list, right?
There's so many there's like companies that manage this sort of stuff.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you what, like the marketing part, it's its entire own job. That was the one thing that shocked me of like being a professional author. Where do I sink most of my time? It's marketing my damn book.
Yeah, there's like a weird balance that I've noticed. It's just like you don't want to post more than 2 to 3 things a day. There are things that
man,
really
I don't even post that much.
Yeah, because you'll get like I feel like you get throttled if you start like posting more than that. So nothing more like a story, a reel, and a post. It's kind of how what seems like a good balance. The thing is man, you got a day job. I'll find myself anxious about like, why am I stressed about Dungeons and Dragons right now? You know what I mean? Like, why am I stressed about posting things? Now, if it's a book and you're publishing and that's a different story. That's
right. Yeah, because I can kind of pick like what's my core, stick to the core. And so that's the thing is, under the author persona, right? Like I write thrillers, I write military thrillers. So my core is like adventure girl, right? Like if I can post something and tie it to like, this is adventure shit. This is thrilling shit.
Cosplay girl, hashtag, you know what I mean? Like
cosplay, or I just ran a super fucking long race that nobody's ever gonna run, or I'm about to go rock climbing or skydiving, or like cool shit, right? Like that's easy to post. I'm like, hey, like I'm a thriller author. This is where I get all my inspiration from. Like, done deal. D&D is tougher, right? Like that's your niche is a lot smaller.
There's a lot of emotion in D&D right now. Like I was, like Halo Hasbro comments and stuff like that. There are people that like live and die by creative content. Like there are a lot of people that were like building up into something. And the weird thing about this is I don't know, this might end up burning the world to the ground, but there's like this movie. Right, like so.
Oh my God,
we've been playing really strong for 3.5 years, and it's like, oh man, when this movie kicks off, there is going to be Strangers Thing bandwagon that's just gonna roll into this thing, and there's gonna be people who are like, I want to play this game. I want to play this
all the duffers are gonna show up, like, hey, I want to do some D&D. I want to look like Chris Pratt and believe that I can be cool, right? Like. And those of us,
Chris Pratt would
and then we run the risk of we're the hipster nerds that are like, no, I love D&D before it was cool. Don't come into my space, right? And like nobody wants to be that gatekeeper. That's an asshole.
We definitely ran into a serious I call them nerd bullies. Dude, so if you look at the French history page that I ran, in the initial phases of that, if you got like a uniform wrong, if you said a regiment was in a place, then people would go off on you. Like, how do you not know your history? I run the archives at blah blah blah. You don't know anything. And you're just like, dude, I'm just trying to proliferate knowledge. I'm not getting paid. I'm just here to spread the word. Word of Dungeons and Dragons. I have made $0. As a matter of fact, if you look around this room, I'm negative thousands of dollars right now. We're just having fun.
Yeah.
People get like, really rice bowled. They protect it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy, like, and if you get into any of the kind of like cosplay, or you want to do any of the stuff like associated, like you want to do more than just play the game, like, oh man, people get crazy, like, oh, your cosplay isn't super fucking accurate to book blah blah blah, and you're like, actually I based it on book 7, not 3, when it was later and they had this. You're like, whoa, but, and then they throw a fucking hissing fit and you're like, okay, nerd boy, got it.
I think we wanted to do a Ren fair, and I started collecting, aluminum armor because I'm not about to wear like legit
75 pounds of plate armor.
Yeah, but then I saw this
Clonk,
post the other day, like shout out to the Ren Fair people that actually wear like exactly
realistic plate.
Yeah, but in like absolutely to the detailed medieval style, right? Like, so there are folks who'd be like, oh, no one would wear a buckler with a bassinet, like I just want to be a nerd and wear my helmet, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, okay. But oh well, it's in every stew, I think. But yeah,
it's just for everything I think that people love, there is somebody that they get off on being a smug motherfucker. Like they do not actually love the thing, they just love feeling superior about the thing, and that's it. Like, man, my best friend's husband, I literally had to unfriend him on Facebook because I was like, okay, number one, you're a libertarian, which, okay, politics, they are what they are, but this guy is like, this guy was like I don't actually care about libertarian politics, I just want to feel smug about shit. And I was like, okay, have a nice, thanks, bye, unfriend. Bro, I don't care. I genuinely do not give a shit, but please, anti-vax, pro-vax, like, just don't, I don't need this. Like, I was posting about taking my kid to like a thing, and like all of a sudden it becomes a vax conversation. I'm like, what are we talking about? Where did this come from? Please stop.
That's from walking through the dark forest of Facebook anyway. It's like, you're gonna it's like, if you just you could ask anything there, and like all of a sudden it'll get turned on you. But yeah, like
my legal name Facebook, I almost never post on there, and maybe it's like a picture of my kid, or like my kid and I are doing something fun, but obviously mark it through the author page, and that's associated with like a whole author Facebook page. And like, yeah, like every time I'm like, put on the blinders, just walk, just go, like, don't look, just go, just don't look, just reach the author page.
That's why I'm like, compared to you two, I'm the antithesis of social media. Like, I have it, but I don't do anything. I basically just sit back and watch the fire happen.
Yeah, I had never logged. Like, I'll log in like really quick, and I just, as soon as I log into Facebook, it's so guilty because it's just like, oh man, I missed a birthday, I missed a baby being born, and blah 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 blah. And like, do I heart this guy? But then they're gonna see that I hearted that guy, and I'm just like, I'm out. I'm just like, I just like go through the shrubbery like.
Gary's so Thomas and Gary are in the chat. Gary says the secret's to not give a shit what all those losers think.
Hey Gary.
Hey Gary. What's going out of this?
We went through what we thought happened yesterday in the campaign. It went like sideways towards the end. But yeah. So you guys are on your way to the Mirror of Mustafar?
Yes.
Okay. I got that out? Okay.
Yeah,
I remember turning off the stream, and I had like a piercing headache, and I'm like, where did we go? So Chris and I actually, for like one of the first times, sat down and watched the stream last night.
Oh, wow.
Have you ever done that? And you're just like, oh, I hate the sound of my voice. You're just like,
see, that's why I don't watch the stream.
So do you remember after the whole thing with the Bleeding Citadel and how we didn't know it, and I told you, go look at my notes. Look what I put in my notes. I do not forget this. My God, Ash. He's just standing in the door of Alicia's office, just barking at her, just it's ridiculous. Anyway, so I wrote down Ubalux Wizard, and then I said fucking Mirror of Mustafar. Ub wants their assistance. That's like,
that one's a fun one. So that one's fun. I can't wait to do that interaction. I'm super excited about the next few spots for you guys. Yeah. Asmodeus says he's going hard in the paint. Poor doggy. Yeah. But, yep. Let's see what else. What do we got else up there?
This is what happens when you have heartworms and you're on heartworm, not prevention, but killing heartworms. And he's not allowed to do any exercise at all and he's got a ton of energy that I can't let him get rid of.
Yeah.
So it's like,
that's what I gotta do with my fur babies here in a sec. Gotta go give them some attention.
Come here.
I've been locked down in Dungeons and Dragons mode. But yeah. Any more questions out in the Twitch universe? Let's see. We went through. Okay, so Gary, Mega, Gen Con, probably we're shooting at maybe going to like visit as a crew.
Yeah.
We just gearing up in Stronghold merch and just walking around and just like pushing over other nerd bullies. You know what I mean? Just like, what do you know about Dungeons and Dragons? And flip their table. You know what I mean? Like, that's a good way.
Small stack of books like on the corner, and I'm like, hi, would you like one? I'll sign it. Even I'll give you money to take it.
And you really need to one up people about when they started Dungeons and Dragons. That's a very first question. Like, so when
did we not just have this whole conversation of don't be a nerd, fucking gatekeeper, be an asshole?
Yeah.
Don't do that.
But that's what being a nerd is all about, is gatekeeping.
It's super fun. I'll catch myself doing it. I will. I'll get to a certain point and be like, what do you know about being a DM?
See, the thing I love about nerd culture though is like you can be super deep in like one thing and know nothing about something else. Like anime and me, like I don't know what I'm doing. Like, right?
I got into it because my son was into Naruto, and I watched all of it from end to end. Because I have like OCD, and I was like, I'm watching every single one.
You have to see all of it, right?
By the time I got to like episode 6 billion, my son wasn't into it anymore. He was in some Titan. There's a Titan, and everybody dies.
Teen Titan?
No, it's
Escape from Titan? No, I don't know.
I think it's Attack. Yeah.
Attack on Titan.
I'm just an elderly man that doesn't know the things, but I was trying to be on his, like have a, discussion about Naruto. But yeah, I tried my best.
See, yeah, like it's weird though. Like you can be super deep on one thing,
Attack on Titan,
and nothing else.
Yeah.
Yes.
Attack on Titan.
I was told I need to watch that one. It's like, okay. Usually when people come at, they're like, you need to watch this one. I'll be like resistant to it, and then I'm like, you're right. I really needed to watch that one.
See, my problem is I basically, like, for all intents and purposes, I tell most people, like, just assume I grew up Amish, and that I had no access to the internet. I had no TV, no cable, no nothing. Like, listen to me like, oh, but didn't you see? And I'm like, no, I did not. And then I'll get like, oh, you have to watch all of West Wing. You have to watch all of Battlestar Galactica. Hey, have you ever seen My Cousin Vinny?
Battlestar Galactica. That's... Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. Wait. But that's it. This is the entire box set right here. I have, in fact, finally watched it. But I'm the person that will finally watch something like 35 years later. I finally saw Aliens in 2021. Alien and Aliens in 2021. I finally watched My Cousin Vinny last week. I watched Pulp Fiction when I was 35. Like, Again, please, for all intents and purposes, please just think that I grew up Amish and I've never seen any of this stuff.
What? That's crazy.
I did see Lord of the Rings in
Aliens 3. That one gets weird. Is that the one where they're like in a weird prison and it's very grungy?
I've only seen the 2. But yeah, like Lord of the Rings is about where I picked up on like actually watching movies in the theater, and before that, like ain't no cheddar cheese for that.
Have you gotten a Critical Role? Have you watched those ones?
Nope.
I keep trying to get people into Critical Role, and I think I need to start them at episode 10. Because if you watch the first few and they're dealing with what we deal with, like they're just a bunch of people trying to like
getting through the D&D shit.
And like the cameras are dying and the microphones, and me as a DM, I love that because I'm like, oh my god, you guys struggle with that too.
God, it's not just
but
me.
If you're trying to get into D&D, you're like, dude, what is going on? I had like an epiphany last night or whatever. Like the interesting thing is I feel like Travis wasn't into Dungeons and Dragons. He was doing it because like Laura Bailey, his wife or whatever, was into D&D, and he's like, okay, like I'll do this. Then like 2 years later, he's like really, really, really into Dungeons and Dragons. I'm like, dude, exactly. It grows on you.
Oh man, that's like me in World of Warcraft. So I in 2004, I finished off the year at a New Year's party. World of Warcraft had just dropped in like November. And
like level 64 or something like that. Is that like in 2004? Was that the and then like
the cap was 60. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
no, the cap was 60 then. It's gone up and down. I think at some point in
Yeah.
time it was like at 100 or something. But
Okay.
so I have a gentleman caller that I appreciate, and we end up at the same New Year's party. And so, of course, on New Year's Day then of 2005, I wake up and go downstairs, and there he is playing World of Warcraft at like 6 a.m. in his boxers, like, because of course he does. And I'm like, hey, like, what's this? And me being me and relatively young, and that's just my jam. I just kind of sit down on his lap, and I'm like, hey, what are we doing now? And
18 years later.
he was wearing shorts. He was wearing boxer shorts at the time, so it wasn't anything too obscene. But like, I'm watching him play, and I'm like, this sounds cool. I want to play this.
Yeah.
17, 18 years later now, I'm still playing World of Warcraft. He's not. I don't know if I've spoken to him in like at least a decade, but
You still play WoW?
nuts to him. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh
Good
man,
times.
I gave it up.
So I'm currently on a classic server. We're doing classic Wrath of the Lich King with a raiding guild, and we're all like, yes, Oludar's like dropping on the 19th. It drops on Thursday, like, or Tuesday, and I'm like, okay, I'm about to be like traveling for work, and am I gonna have good enough internet? Like, can I play? That kind of thing.
You sound like me when I was a lieutenant and a captain. Because that was
Well,
me.
that would be when I started.
I started. I mean, I've been playing I started playing Warcraft in '93.
Exactly, Gary.
In '93. But yeah, I was obsessed with it. Through Wrath of the Lich King, I stopped playing for a minute. No, through Cataclysm, stopped playing.
Yeah.
Came back in Legion, and then
And Legion was bad.
no, Legion was good. Legion was good. And then I just gave it up. Like it has become. It's not the game that it used to be. The community fucking blows. And then I started playing Final Fantasy 14, and it's fun. It's just fun.
Oh my god. So I had a whole like friendship group blow up over the summer over Final Fantasy. So like the married couple I was playing with, and like we had one other friend that was in this like little group. Like we played Warcraft and we played all together, like did a lot of classic stuff. And they're like, yeah, no, we're gonna go back to Final Fantasy, like we're gonna keep playing this. And then like they love this game, right? And great for them. Like I'm happy for people that find things that they love, especially like when you're a couple, right? And you can find something you love and you love to do together. Like, great, that's amazing. I'm really happy for you. But like trying to load up a game that is that old, that has that much lore, that has that many like things, and it came up on my screen, and I'm like, I have visual acuities problems to begin with, right? Like there's a reason I'm on an EDub and not a pilot, and I'm like looking at this cluttered ass screen, and I'm like, guys, I don't even know what I'm looking at. Like I cannot figure out what the fuck I'm doing. Like I can't get out of the starting area.
Neverwinter PS4 is like will definitely like blow up your eyes. Like every time you hit, like numbers just like fly.
Well,
Yeah.
And I'm like, guys, you guys gotta help me.
I'll say from that standpoint, yes, Final Fantasy is definitely like that. But as a game, just as a game, it is so much better than WoW in that it's like the story. The game is built around the story, and the storytelling in the game is absolutely amazing. And the gameplay is almost secondary to the story.
So
where WoW
is like,
is there is no actual story.
There's lore, and there's some story as you play through each of the expansions. Like the problem for me though was like, if I can't get over the UI enough to be able to see the game, how am I ever going to get to any of that lore and story, right? Like I couldn't get out of the starting area because I couldn't figure out what the fuck I was looking at. Anyway, they got very upset that I did not like their game, and like things just kind of fell apart after that. So it's one of those, like, you feel bad, but at the same time, like, dude, if y'all loved this game enough and really wanted us to play, like, you would have sunk a little more time into like helping me figure this out. Like, how do I tame this UI to something useful? Anyway.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well.
That's fair. That's fair. But just as like the community in the game is like WoW's was when it first came out. in 2004.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. So like I'm in a like Wrath of the Lich King raiding guild right now, and they're pretty decent. Like I think they've got like some top tier shit on their like 10 mans, but like these people have all been playing together for 5 years at least, like basically since like Classic rebooted. So I guess 3 years since Classic rebooted, and like they're all friends. They've been playing together for a while, and it's nice because it's kind of like a second family almost. I mean, to the point of when I was coming back from surgery, like I had people like, hey, can I send you, like, take them a meal? Can I send you like a DoorDash gift card kind of stuff, like that kind of community. And I'm like, man, like this is adults like being supportive of other adults. This isn't like 18-year-olds like, oh dude, I can sneak you some beer,
Yeah.
So it's interesting, like the maturation of the community. It's very different. You're right. Like you're absolutely right. It's different from what it was 20 years ago, 15 years ago, but better. I don't know.
Well,
we'll kind of
you're playing Classic, which is
that's true.
Which is a different community than retail, and I think the retail community in general is hella toxic, super uber toxic, and it's just become that way, unfortunately. And I don't know. It's Druid PvP was a lot of fun, and yeah. I always played a warrior. I played a warrior, and then I played a shaman.
Oh man, so I don't have the Twitch stream up, so I can't actually see any of the comments. But to everybody that loves like retail Warcraft, like thank you. I'm glad that you do. It's not for me right now. In fact, like I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to hang on for Uldar or go and actually finally play Dragonflight.
I deleted it all.
Or just not play Warcraft. I don't know.
I
deleted it all.
Trying to add another, like as a DM, like playing a console game, because I thought when I finished War College, my gift was Witcher, but this has been so slippery. Descent to Avernus being so slippery that I can't sit down in Witcher. Witcher takes a lot of your time. At least the last time, it's like you need to like have potions to be able to make a sword work and stuff like that, and it takes a lot of, you know what I mean, like cerebral capacity to get going. I mean, so to some people that's like fantastic, but I really want to get into Witcher. I want to play. There's new Baldur's Gate coming out too on PC, from what I'm tracking, or it's already out. I'm not sure.
It's in early release. I've played through. I can never get through like the first.
So is it linear? Is it like the old Baldur's Gate where like you kind of, you know what I mean, you go fight the snakes and then you go into the crystal shard and
it's so you basically start off on a you start off with a Githyanki, helping out a Githyanki.
That's not out yet? What do you
no,
mean? Whoa,
it's
really?
it's not out. It's not released. It's been an early release for ever.
Oh, okay. Well, dang, Liam said that there is a Baldur's Gate that is essentially D&D, the video game.
Yes,
like rolling.
That's what the new Baldur's Gate is, but it's
like
not
dice roll and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a dice roll in the game.
Standard array, baby. All right.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, bringing up campaign, if you guys are gonna put in a character, you'll just pin it in the campaign 2 shenanigans. And then just standard array. If you want to start building your character, regular old standard array with, I think 15 is the highest. So yeah, 15 to 8. So I have made the mistake of letting people roll. And man, we've got some OP characters right now. But it's fun. You know what I mean? So we'll do standard array. So if anybody wants to start building those character sheets and talking about your strengths and weaknesses in there, that's kind of fun.
Bad Bard. Bad Bard.
Bad Bard. Oh no. Yeah, I know.
It's either Bad Bard or Worthless Wizard.
I'll be right back. I gotta go swap my laundry.
Come on, buddy. But yeah. Okay. What else we got? Buddy?
I don't know. I've got a dog that wants to.
Yeah.
To die.
Here.
He wants to die.
This is a good session. We brought stuff up and kind of talked through some things. I just wanted to recap a little bit. So you guys are on the ship heading to the Mirror of Mustafar. When I'm tracking, go talk to Mephistopheles, one of those. I think he's in Cania. Which one's ice? Anyways, that's.
Can he be part beagle?
Wait. Mephistopheles is in Cania. Horn Devils, Ice Devils, Imps, and Pit Fiends. So just a second ago, I slapped my head. Right in front of me, on the back of this DM screen, I was today years old when I realized everything that I've been talking about with encounters, where the map is, has been staring in my face this whole time.
Are you
I was
serious?
like reaching over and like opening the book, finding stuff, and like there's all the war machines and all their hit points. There's the encounters running. I was just like,
oh, that's funny.
I'm so distracted, right, going up to the session that I missed the forest for the tree. You know what I mean? Or however that cliche works, But yeah, man,
we can drop the sesh and say goodbye to everybody. Thanks everybody for showing up. My new dude is never gonna be a Bamf, but he is gonna be fun.
he has to be a vamp. He's a rogue, Gary. Rogues are awesome. Level 1 to 5. Always be a rogue in the first few sessions. That sneak attack when it hits gets pretty juicy. Yeah.
Can you guys hear Ash?
Nope.
From here? Oh, I wish you
I
could
gotta
right
go
now.
rescue my dogs though. That's
Cool.
That's my hinting cue. It's lunchtime. I gotta go make some sandwiches for the wee baron, and then and go take some puppies around, get some puppy energy out of them.
Cool. Well, thanks everybody for hanging out.
Yeah, thanks, Adam.
I know it's a short session, but we'll see everybody next Sunday.
Yeah, thanks, Wicked Ninja. Thanks, Gay Rights. Be happy you guys are showed up and hopped in the chat. We'll be back maybe next Sunday, same time, same station. We'll keep pressing the campaign a little bit farther as one party wraps it up in the Wondrous Emporium. You can look that up and Google it, and the other party goes and talks to a scary mirror, which I'm gonna have to. I might cosplay that one a little bit too. We'll have to see. I'll dress up as a mirror.
But yeah.
I can't wait to see that.
All right. I love your purple beard.
Thank you.
Anyways,
Thank you.
Ciao, everybody.
Have a good one, guys.